Open up a tab, grab a seat, and pour a pint. It's time for the Beer Guys Radio Show.
You want free beer? Go to the brewery.
Dedicated to the art, science, and enjoyment of craft beer.
Lady and gentlemen, the beer room.
Now, here are your hosts, Tim Dennis and Aaron Williams.
Welcome to the Beer Guys Radio Show. Visit us online at beerguysradio.com. We are radio for the local craft beer movement. I'm Tim Dennis.
Yes, you are, and I'm Aaron Williams, and on this episode, we will talk to Georgia's newest brewery, Scofflaw, owner Matt Shira and JP are going to be in the studio with us. We will share this week's headlines as well as the events you don't want to miss, and of course, Tim's Whale of the Week. It's Labor Day weekend. There are about 8 million people in the city for all sorts of events.
There's so much stuff going on.
There is, so I think the best way to do it is to go ahead and just crack open some beer on the porch and just don't go outside. Or
Make
don't
a burger. Barbecue and beer.
That's it, man.
Stay at home and stay away from Dragon Con and concerts and
we've
all
got
that
Celebrate
stuff.
Freedom. We've got football. We've got just way too much stuff going on. So anyway, it is the Beer Guys Radio Show for the Labor Day edition. Very excited about that. And you know what? We do have some really cool stuff going on. In fact, right now, before we kind of get into anything else, some big news. And you just got
you want me to roll with it?
Let's roll with it, baby.
You know
Let's
what? This is
it.
exciting stuff. So let's talk about it right now. So for those that don't know, we work a little magic with our show. We record a little earlier in the week, and we send it to you on Saturdays. Yeah. But this just happened. It just happened.
Breaking news.
Like 30 minutes ago. I got a growler fill at a brew pub in the city of Atlanta.
That's shocking.
Right. So I went to 5 Seasons Westside, sat there with Crawford Moran, and, had a big group of people there gathered to celebrate this momentous occasion. A lot of people have worked very, very, very hard to make this happen, to make this legal. And as of today, Crawford's 5 Seasons Westside is the first brew pub in Atlanta that can officially fill growlers. So
excellent.
Crawford was nice enough to film me one. I took a little video of that. Now, the name of this beer is going to change because of what just happened, but I thought this was appropriate for me to get.
Yes.
I have a growler of we are so very, very close to filling growlers of this IPA. So
Crawford always has the best names.
He does.
That's awesome.
He's got a lot of good names. So, guys, I'm going to open this up. We're going to kind of pregame with this and celebrate growlers from brew pubs in city of Atlanta.
Congratulations.
And just a little note, check our website. We'll be updating when the other brew pubs in city of Atlanta are able to do that.
Yeah, so another one like Wrecking Bar, for example.
They're working on it.
So
Max Loggers, Wrecking Bar, Torch Top.
Yeah, so those are the big ones that are going through. So slowly but surely, we're actually getting growlers and brew pubs across cities here in Georgia. So good for them. So this week, man, it was a pretty busy week for me. While you pour, I'm going to go ahead and do my weekend review.
Do it.
You know what? I had my fantasy football draft over at Lincoln Fill Station, which is always fun. I always try to encourage my competitors and my other guys in the fantasy football draft to go for the big bourbon barrel-aged stouts early.
Sure, right.
Those big 12, 13
playing
ones.
dirty pool there.
I do, man. Listen, I'll just take the sessions, and you guys go ahead and take the big old bourbon barrel-aged stouts. But no, I had the High Wire Primetime Pale. Of course, High Wire out of North Carolina just started coming into the area. Nice, solid pale. Rivertown Nice Melons, another new one there from Ohio. That's a really nice Berliner Weiss, and it's got a really good a melony watermelon on the nose. Not a big candy flavor, a little bit more subtle than, say, the Terrapin watermelon goza, but delicious. And then, of course, one of my favorites, Green Flash Comic Ristretto, which is their espresso Baltic porter.
Cosmic or comic?
Comic.
Is this a new version?
Is it a Cosmic Comic Ristretto?
I think it's...
I misspelled it.
Maybe I'm wrong. It
was so hard for me to actually try to pronounce Ristretto. I didn't do this word beforehand.
You didn't focus on the other word,
No,
right?
I didn't, so that was it. So you had a trip, though.
I did. I had a lot of trips. It was a busy, busy week. So last Friday, Homebrew Club meeting, we learned there about brewing super high ABV beers. A friend of mine brewed a 19.2% stout, cherry chocolate imperial stout. So he taught us kind of the method to do that on a homebrew scale. Saturday, I did a day trip to Asheville.
So
I went up there, just up and back. So we went to the Wicked Weed Funkatorium. That was the main purpose of the mission. We went to Burial. Had a few beers there. We went to one called Twin Leaf, which is right across from the Funkatorium. Twin Leaf doesn't get a lot of mention, but it's a nice, relaxed, simple, delicious beers.
So many breweries up there in Asheville. I mean, how could you not take your pick? So very cool.
So and then Sunday, we went actually up with some of the Scofflaw team there. We did some Scuppernong picking in North Georgia.
Yeah.
So I'm putting some in a table beer that I brewed, and I don't know what kind of madness they got worked up there. They're going to do. Have you guys decided yet what you're going to do with them?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I'm going to leave that up to Travis. We got a couple ideas.
Gotcha.
So Travis is brewmaster, going to be diligently working on something with
But it was a fun, busy weekend. So, and then kind of, took it easy through the rest of the week and just relaxed from the busy weekend.
Excellent. Well, cool. Well, we've got more beer to drink. Of course, we're drinking on Crawford and Five Seasons brand new Growler Fill IPA. But we've also got some beers of the week.
Crack open a cold one. It's the Truck and Tap Beer of the Week. Craft beer and food trucks in downtown Woodstock. Truckandtap.com.
So as usual, we always like to have the guests come in and bring beer because that's what we like to do. I'm a big fan of it myself.
Absolutely.
So JP, what have we got in your box of fun down there?
We brought 4 beers today. I brought two that we've already launched out in the market, our Basement IPA, which is our Citra hopped IPA, our Sneaky Wheat, which is our Imperial Wheat that we brew at 8.5%.
I like that one.
And then 2 of our new beers. We have an Interrogation, which is our coffee milk stout, and we have our single hop series we're going to come out with called Solitary, and this one's Mosaic.
Excellent.
Very nice.
We're looking forward to those, actually, too. So very cool. We've got that. And by the way, I just want to give out a shout-out to Truck and Tap. You can do what they call a live read in the business. Are you ready for that? No. It's very exciting.
Gosh,
so here we go.
I'm ready for it.
Listen, hey, you know what? Truck and Tap has been an awesome sponsor for us. I mean, they were the first one actually to sign up for the Beer Guys radio show. So Zach and the guys behind this awesome concept in downtown Woodstock have got something really cool going. If you haven't been to Truck and Tap, you're going to be in for a treat. They've got 17 taps, and I'm seeing some great local beers on the list, including that Three Taverns Rapturous that we had last week. Also, Scofflaw's Double Jeopardy Double IPA is on tap right now. And, of course, Truck and Tap has a rotating flotilla, because I like to use the word flotilla of food trucks, like Dominic's New York Pizza Tasting Maine and the Blaxican. Now, they are going to be closed on Labor Day Monday, but open the rest of this week. So check out their tap and truck lineup at truckandtap.com. Truck and Tap, food trucks and craft beer. So always a cool sponsor, so I appreciate that.
It's a great place.
Definitely. So speaking of, we've got some news, though. Let's get into it right now.
What's in the news? The beer guys have the scoop.
Extra, read all about it.
Time for headlines.
And we've got a brand new sponsor for Headlines, don't we, Tim?
We do have a new sponsor. Our sponsor for Headlines brought to you by Your Pie Perimeter. So they're serving up handmade pizzas and craft beer.
Very cool folks that run that. I know they've got some really cool craft beer events. Recently just had a Hop and Frog tasting out there, too. So Your Pie Perimeter, again, thanks for showing us some love and becoming a sponsor of the Beer Guys radio show. So really quick, again, big news we've had so far is Growlers-to-Go in Atlanta. We mentioned that here at the top of the show. So another city goes down when it comes to growlers. So good for them. Congratulations. Very cool. So
baby steps, but at least it's progress.
We're getting there. One of these days we'll actually be able to buy some beer.
Let's not get crazy. I know where you're going with this.
Hey, listen, I mean, that's just a crazy talk. I know.
Yeah, what's wrong with the beer we got?
That's right. What's wrong with the beer we got?
It drinks pretty good, don't it?
It does. It drinks pretty good, but it's all those Germans that come in and mess things up for everybody. Anyway, that was an inside joke. But anyway, in other news, actually, speaking of Alabama, that was an Alabama lawmaker, by the way, before they improved their beer laws. Straight to Ale up in Huntsville, one of the former guests on our show. They have a brand new brew, and that's coming to Whole Foods Market, and it should be in shelves right now. If you want to check that out, they've got a couple, actually 3 types of specialty brews that they're brewing. Again, straight to ale for the folks at Whole Foods only. It's going to be an IPA that they've got that's a 6% ABV. Also a citrus wit, which is a Belgian-style wit, again, with some sweet orange peel, and that's a 4.7 ABV. And then an Imperial Red, Hoppy Red, which is 6% ABV, available only on draft. So cans of straight to ale only starting to come in to the Whole Foods here in the Southeast. So cool concept. Good for them. They're really blowing up now that they moved to their new location.
Yeah, they didn't move, though.
Oh, they didn't move. I'm sorry. They transferred expansion. That's what it is.
Expansion to the new location.
That's right. That's right. So in other news, actually, across down in Texas, they've got something interesting there. Of course, they've got a huge legal win, which is Travis County judge struck down a 2013 law that made it illegal for brewers to get paid from distributors for their distribution rights. The judge said the 2013 law was unconstitutional based on the Texas Constitution. And it looks like, again, they're going to appeal it, but it's going to be good for the brewers.
I mean, it's pretty amazing judgment there. Basically, it said that laws couldn't be passed that allow one business or one enterprise to profit at the detriment of another. Mm-hmm. So, and it made a great point. These distributors are able to sell the rights to distribute your beer. You know, they can sell it and they can get money. They can make a profit off of that.
Exactly.
So, and it's
there's a lot of work that goes into that process. As you see,
Sure.
we knew plenty of people out in Arizona that distributed themselves. I think they could distribute up to a few thousand barrels. But you see the guys in North Carolina can go up to 25,000, I think, and you put all that work into it, and you just it's just for nothing.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
Absolutely.
So congratulations to the folks in Texas on that bill. And also some congratulations a little bit further north of us. Governor McAuliffe from Virginia, he is going to release a collaboration with 3 Richmond breweries, which is Stone, Ardent Craft Ales, and Hardywood Park. So they're going to have a stout named Give Me Stout or Give Me Death. And it's nice to see a governor of a state embracing the craft beer movement.
Absolutely. I mean, giving credence to what it does for the state, giving recognition to it. So
yeah,
I don't feel that our state's done that. You know,
I don't see Governor Deal doing a collab anytime soon. Although I'd love to see a Governor Deal, maybe a Scott Hedin, a collaboration with Ben Hickory.
I want to be there for that brew day. Actually, is what I want. So yeah,
that would be awesome. So so
you know what? Some of our senior lawmakers here seem to go begrudgingly along with changes to the laws, but I have not seen any embracing in Georgia so far.
No, exactly. So
not at that level, anyhow. So you're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We're going to take a quick break here. Coming up next, we're going to crack open the Truck and Tap Beers of the Week, and we're going to talk with Matt and JP from Scofflaw. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
This is Glenn Golden from Jailhouse Brewing Company. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
The Beer Guys are back right after this.
Hey, it's Aaron, and you're a fan of craft beer, right? And you want to know more about what's going on in the craft beer scene in Georgia? Thanks to the hard work from my co-host Tim, we are giving you the lowdown on the craft beer scene every week right in your inbox. Go to beerguysradio.com and sign up for This Week in Georgia Beer right at the top. We won't spam you, promise, or sell your name. Just good beer info every week. Plus, you can win great prizes from us. This Week in Georgia Beer, sign up today. beerguysradio.com.
Because one can't live on craft beer alone, here's a Beer Guy's digression.
Hi, this is Brian Hewitt, and this is the Stogie Review Cigar and 60. Punch is a classic cigar brand. Even if you've never smoked one of them before, there's a good chance you've heard of them. The Punch brand goes all the way back to Cuba in the 1840s. But the cigar I have for you this week is the Punch Signature, the newest addition to the well-established brand. Development of the cigar began in 2012, but it wasn't released until last year. And in keeping with the times, it's a little bolder and a little more peppery than its classic predecessors. It's more than just peppery tobacco. It also delivers an experience of rich caramel, cinnamon, cedar, roasted nuts, which is why it's one of my current favorites. So the Punch Signature has complexity as well as fuller body. That really opens up the playing field when it comes to beer pairings. A couple of beers that come to mind in terms of pairing are Burnt Hickory's Big Shanty and Killdozer. A pairing with either would work nicely, and Three Taverns, Quasimodo, Monday Night's Drafty Kilt also come to mind. But there's a lot of room for pairing experimentation. For more information on this and other cigars, check out StogieReview.com. This has been Brian Hewitt with the Stogie Review Cigar and 60.
More info at BeerGuysRadio.com. Now, back to the Beer Guys.
And thanks again for Brian Hewitt and that digression. Very cool. BeerGuysRadio.com and StogieReview.com for more Brian's stuff.
Got to have some stuff to go with your beers.
Got to have some stuff to go with your beers. And speaking of, we are here in the studio with Atlanta's newest brewery, which is Scofflaw. Owner Matt Shira and one of the sales guys. I was going to give you a promotion there for a second, JP. Sorry. JP Watts joins us in the studio today. I don't know. That's probably true.
Yes. Those guys work way too hard for me.
There you go. You're just the beautiful face of Scofflaw, which is always key. You brought some beers today. What have we got to share here this segment?
Well, we brought 4 beers. I think you guys probably had some of them, but I don't know how you want to go through it. Just go through them, each beer.
Sure. You know what? What are we opening right now, Matt? What are we going to start with?
Well, we'll start with this. It's probably the right one to start with. It's a Sneaky Wheat. I call it that. This beer is kind of close to my heart. JP and I developed this beer out on the West Coast because we were looking for a beer to compete with the wheats that everyone was selling a lot of at the time, and the Sea Dogs and those beers. The adjustment we made is we reduced the Belgian flavors in the beer, made it a true American wheat, use American yeast, and we goosed up the ABV on this beer to about 8.5.
Yeah, there's definitely some heat on this. When I tried it at your brewery here earlier, that's what got me first. When you think wheat, you think of something like maybe a wit more than anything else. But this one,
you think banana, cloves, softer flavors than that. But this one's got some legs to this one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's we've got another one I haven't put out yet because I wanted to see how this one was received, but it's called Sneakier Wheat, and it's 12%.
Wow.
American wheat.
Yeah.
Oh, not so sneaky there, man.
Yeah, well,
12%.
Sneakier.
Definitely.
Yes.
Now you guys, again, newest brewery here in Atlanta, open up. Tell us about your backstory, Matt. How did you get into this crazy thing?
Oh, well, that's not a long or difficult story. JP and I were selling beer on the West Coast in some retail establishments that my family owned. We did that for a few years, and, there was always that battle from a retailer, especially on the West Coast, trying to get the right beers and put the right product in there and make sure you have what you want. And I just kind of got tired of having to beg for beer, and I figured, you know what, I'm also tired of selling other people's beer, so I'm going to make my own damn beer. And I ran across a guy, Travis Herman, who's not here because he's doing something ridiculous.
Actually brewing. And
more on that soon. We'll tell
yeah.
the story on that one. So.
So JP and I, JP tracked him down. He had just left Russian River, and we got together. He had a couple kids. He was looking for his next project. They had put together something in the West Coast in Arizona called Arizona Wilderness with some friends of his, which is a brewery out in Gilbert, Arizona.
Just recently did a collaboration with Creature Comforts.
With a lot of people, actually. They did
That's
that
right.
project out there.
Those are some friends of ours, Jonathan and the other guys, Patrick, and JP's real close with those guys, too. He was looking for somewhere to go, and I do honestly think his wife was just sick and tired of the heat. So it was an easy sell for me, and I put him in my basement at my mother-in-law's house, not permanently, but for long hours. And we just sat there, and I picked his brain for 2 years to try to figure out how to make this thing a reality. And we spent those 2 years planning, brewing on a 1-barrel system in the basement. We actually had jacketed fermenters in the basement and a full lab, a reasonable lab, centrifuge, and some other key items down there in the lab so that we could keep some controls on these things and move them over to the big system. So here we are now, a couple years later. Our dream, our nightmare has become a reality.
I'm jealous of your basement.
So,
I mean, just hearing that,
the
it's
coolest
like
mother-in-law in the world. Get all of her stuff down there.
Well,
exactly.
she said, am I going to get in trouble for this? And we said, probably not, but you've never been in trouble.
No,
They're just going to give you a slap on the wrist. And if you do get in serious trouble, I mean, you've had a pretty good run.
Yeah.
That's true. Exactly. So that's key.
That's right. That's like in Breaking Bad when he went into the laundry and went subterranean to do his cooking. You guys had that kind of setup, huh?
Well, she was she likes to be involved, and we love having her involved, and she's very happy. We've got this Basement IPA. She knows where it came from and was always involved, and that's our next beer. Is that our next beer?
That's the next one.
We move on to the
next
basement.
Coming? Okay.
Sure.
Well,
all right. Well, we'll move over to this one.
You guys are good and fast and furious for us. That's fine.
No, we
my
can slow
sneaky
down.
week.
That's
okay,
how we do it. Yes.
It's all good. It's all good.
Anybody can questions about I can go as long or as little on the background. I mean,
so what had you make because you spent many years in the corporate world. Corporate New York City, that type of stuff. How'd you end up selling beer?
Well, I did corporate turnaround work where I'd go into distressed companies and take them over, sometimes take them out, get them going in the right direction. My wife and I met in New York City. We were in the Chrysler Building. In fact, we met, fell in love, had kids. I went to graduate school at Emory. When I came here, our family was here, and we never left. So that's how we got here. And she's from Atlanta. She went to Druid Hills High School. And whenever we had a child, at that point in time, I decided it was no more road trips for me because I was on the 150 planes a year at the time, and decided I want to try to find something for us to do, for me to do locally. She's still working, but here I am, with much less money and much happier.
Now I know you guys were from all over the place before you came here. So was it the family that brought you here? Because Georgia's not the most friendly place to start a brewery.
Well, we didn't really look at it like that. I mean, I understand the dynamic, and I understand, the big picture. I've been around all the states. We sold beer in the West Coast when we started to do that. When we started to get involved in beer on the East Coast, in the Southeast, we just, she went to school here. Her brother is a doctor here in Emory. My sister-in-law is a doctor at Emory. My father-in-law is a professor at Emory. I mean, we had a lot of heritage here and wanted to make beer where we wanted to be at home. So that's what we did.
Excellent. We're here talking with Matt Shira, the owner of Scofflaw Brewing, and JP Watts, with the sales guru, the face of Scofflaw, and what a beautiful face it is. Yeah. Here in the studio with us in the Beer Guys Radio Show.
The face must be working, man. You're selling a lot of beer out there, so a lot of people are excited to get your beer. So
they make my job easy.
There you go, man. Yeah, that's I've been out to a few of the launch events. We were talking about the sneaky wheat and that, and just well received from everyone. On the forums, I'm on Reddit ATL Beer. We've mentioned that here before, and people are getting excited to find you guys out there. They're getting excited to see your beer and find it, asking people where they can find it, get the growler fills and that. So. It's exciting to see. Now, you just opened another one here for us, passed around. What are we getting into now?
This one is the Basement IPA. People really like this beer.
Over that one, yeah.
The way that we developed this beer is I was drinking a lot of beer at the time. We'd always been West Coast beer drinking guys, so we're more in tune with the palate of the West Coast, which I think is quite different. And we sat down and we were drinking a lot of beers. Like we were drinking a lot of Lawson's. We were drinking a lot of who else, like Treehouse, guys like
Trillium
that.
And
even the Pseudo Sue and those guys. And I sat down with this and the West Coast beers and said, hey, what can we do to make this what we want it to be? I want this to be a beer that we want to grab when we go into the refrigerator. And that was our first shot. What you guys are tasting is basically a first shot. We got a beer that's a fruited version of that we start out with, which we actually think is a real good beer it's called Sucker Punch. And that beer hopefully be out soon as soon as we get the fruit to do it with, which I didn't actually pay enough attention to the fruit seasons.
Matt, we need to take us a quick break here. Yeah. We'll get back to this in just a minute. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show, and we will be right back.
Thanks.
The Beer Guys Radio Show on the Beer Guys Radio Network. BeerGuysRadio.com.
Here on the Beer Guys Radio Show, we always encourage you to drink local. And of course, shop local at your favorite bottle shop. But sometimes you want something different. A beer you heard about online, or maybe you've got a bottle share to attend, but nothing special to bring, or you just want to check out something new. That's where Inside the Cellar comes in. They stock lots of craft beer from breweries that may not be available in your hometown. Shipping is almost free for every 12 you buy, and if you use our special promo code, you'll get 10% off of your order. Inside the Cellar also stocks wines and craft soda too, and using Inside the Cellar helps us out. So head to BeerGuysRadio.com, click on the sponsors link at the top of the page, and click the Inside the Cellar icon to shop. And enter our special promo code for 10% off, too. That's BeerGuysRadio.com. Click the sponsors link, and then go to Inside the Cellar. Hey, it's Aaron, and you know what I hate? When I miss a favorite TV show and forget to DVR it. Don't let this tragic tale happen to you when it comes to Beer Guys Radio. Subscribe to us on demand. It is easy. If you've got iTunes, Stitcher, or any other iOS or Android podcast app, search for us, or go to BeerGuysRadio.com, click Listen, and you can copy and paste the RSS feed. While you're there, by the way, give us a review. It really helps. That's Beer Guys Radio on demand. Catch it today.
Ahoy there, mateys! Hunting whales? We've got you covered with Tim's Whale of the Week.
We got some whales going on this week, don't we, brah?
We got whales, man. We got whales, brah. So this week in Georgia, you've got Get Your Nerd On.
Oh, yeah.
At Dragon Con.
Dragon Con is this Labor Day weekend.
That's right. And
yes.
Southern Sky is releasing Dragon of the Hilton. They'll be available exclusively at the Atlanta Hilton for Dragon Con through Monday.
Very cool.
So that's the only place you can get it. You want to get something if you're a Dragon Con fan, go down there and get you a beer. Coastal Empire Coco Pina Goza cans.
That's what I'm looking for.
And that was one that I guess it was a year and a half ago. We were talking to them, and they did it as a draft-only release, and it was just really popular. So that's why, it ended up in cans because everybody loved it.
No,
so get you some of that. And you know what? Growlers in the city of Atlanta.
That's a beautiful thing.
Go out there and do it up, man, because you can. So that's those are wells. I don't have anything for Alabama this week. I apologize, didn't get that, but that's what's up.
Yeah, and of course, if you've got a whale of the week, go ahead and email timd@beerguysradio.com, and we'll try and get you on there to be good. Hey, another live read for you, very exciting. Hopspot Beer Tours, want to give a shout out to them. Owner Jason Jones started the company to give people something different. And when you take a Hopspot Beer Tour, you not only hit the breweries, you hit the brew pubs, beer bars, bottle shops, you get the whole experience. Plus, Hopspot makes it interactive. You'll make new craft beer friends on every tour. Hopspot's next tour is scheduled for September 24th, and go to hopspotbeertours.com for more information. Plus, you can use our promo code, which is BeerGuys10. You'll get 10% off your order. That's hopspotbeertours.com. Hopspotbeertours.com. Hop on, get connected. We are here again with the guys from Scofflaw, and they have cracked open. We just cracked open the Basement IPA, and do we have another one to crack open too?
I got two more if you got time. So.
We got stuff going.
Time,
Let's do
Absolutely.
it, man. Let's do it. We're only at about the halfway point right now.
Yeah, we got plenty of time going
so
on
we're
here.
good to go.
That's
This
right.
is a single smash or solitary. With this beer, this is the first run of this beer. We're big Mosaic fans.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how we even got moving in this direction. I mean, we're primarily an IPA house, and we do a lot of different things, but we'll continue to refine our portfolio when we find that we're doing what people want.
Sure.
When we do what we want, and if we want it and somebody else doesn't, it doesn't really do us much good. So this particular beer is heavy on the Mosaic. It's got the Mosaic resins in the boil. I think it's also got a pound or so of Mosaic on the dry hop. It's probably got some crystals with a little bit of caramel malt in it, but we intentionally there's none.
It's all 2 rows. So we did. Travis wanted to showcase the Mosaic,
Okay.
so he just used
maybe
2
I don't know what made it a little bit darker, I thought, than it was. But the point of this beer was actually we have a blend beer that I really enjoy. Not just that I enjoy, but it's pretty damn good. But the point of this was made to blend, but as it came out, you see how that's a little bit darker.
Yeah,
than you expect just a 2-row.
Yeah.
So we ended up taking this beer on its own, and so it's going to be a heavy Mosaic. We call it single smash.
So
it's really. Can you smell it?
Yeah, well, that's So I've got some questions. I'm going to get a little nerdy on you.
Yeah, sure.
So first question: you were making this as a blending beer?
I was making it as a blending beer. Yes.
What kind of blending were you looking to do?
Oh,
with
I
it?
don't want to tell you all that.
Okay, that's
Industry secret.
proprietary stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
right
you'll be the first one to get it when we do it. But it's something. I made a mistake on a beer one time, and just the Play-Doh. I'll tell you this: the beginning Play-Doh on the beer that I made the mistake on was 36.
Okay.
And so we had to find a way to cut it down. Not for we weren't worried about the ABV. We had over-hopped that beer and had an under-hop Mosaic. And when I blended them, they were phenomenal. So that's where the direction we were going. But then we decided we liked the Mosaic too much, and we would use it and just let the other stuff sit around for a while longer to see if it mellows out any.
Well, sometimes, some of the best beers, some of the best creations comes out of a mistake. You start with one thing and it comes out something completely different.
Just follow it to where it's going to finish.
Pretty well, yeah.
A lot of guys will tell you that they rarely make good beers until they get through the barrel process. I mean, even some of the guys that from renowned barrel production facilities say, hey, we can fix it in the barrel. We don't always brew it so well.
Yeah.
So it gives you a lot of flexibility if you have different beers coming out of your brew house.
Well, I know there's some, is it Casey?
Casey's blending.
They're just a blender, right? They get it and go from there. So there's some right. So it kind of neat. I mean, there's who is it in the Belgian brewer or blender? I guess is it Fantôme or Dre Fontainen that does it? So there's one over there that does that does the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they get the wort, they blend that. So
well, if you're going to lose the beer anyway, then try to use it and see what happens where it comes out of. But the objective's not to make anything that's not really great to begin with. But sometimes you have to be willing to take on those costs of R&D, putting those beers through the process to really make sure that you're going to come out with a product that's for lack of a better term, not duplicable.
Yeah, sure. And it is something we talked about this before we went on the air, is that you have to be willing to go ahead and dump a batch, because if it's not right, you don't want to have that come out and be your reputation, to turn some people off on something that just wasn't supposed to be what it is.
I have some very sad pictures of Travis dumping beer.
I've seen him on Facebook, going all of it, just pumping straight down the drain.
He's very unhappy about it, but that's the way it goes. I keep the a brewmaster. A brewmaster loves his beer. I
Brutal. So is this Mosaic only?
It's only Mosaic.
Because it's
100%
a little
Mosaic.
danker than I noticed with some Mosaic.
Yeah.
A little more of that.
Well, it was a start of something I wanted to try to go down the path with some Simcoes and some other things that I think are really great single smash beers. Some stuff you might get from Fiddlehead, some CTZ beers, some things like that. I mean, it's just all in the area of that northeastern. Whatever you want to call it, which is completely butting heads with Travis's, but he likes to do. So I have to. We've come to blows before over this stuff, but no big deal.
Scrap it out and find the middle ground.
Yeah.
Right? So
no problem.
Now, speaking of course, Travis is not here right now, but again, you brought him in from the West Coast. He's brewed at the Russian River, Lost Abbey, some really famous places in California. What's been that process like?
I'm going to back it up. I'm still nerd. I got a quick the geek question.
All right, I'll let you do it. Okay, go ahead. Do it.
You mentioned just casually the hop extract or resin that's used. Now I've talked with your brewers a little bit about that, and I know it's been used in bittering before, but there's something that's being used now for the flavor and aroma side of things, correct?
You can use it. There are so many things that you can do that nobody has tried to do or people are scared to try to do because it's not the way that they want to do them. But you know what? I give us the resources, and it may end up on the street, but we're going to try to do things that push the envelope. That's what we'll do. And the resins are not necessarily only for the boil or for the whirlpool. You can push them over to the back end. You still get some of that. You might get more IBUs than you do, nose off that. But there are, you can, how many variables are? Millions of variables. When you look at time, temperature, and pressure, there's a unlimited amount of combinations you can put in there. We think we know, but we learn something new about these things every day.
And they'll also give you a little more control exactly over that. And plus you get a lot more yield if you don't have those hop solids you're throwing in there.
Yeah,
right?
it's not it's not always cheaper to use the resins, but it is efficient, and it does create a bitterness through the beer that is sometimes unachievable with pellets. So I don't really, I try to get away from beers turning into water before you finish the drink of beer, and resins help you to get over that hurdle when you're not using really heavy malts. So, you can end up with a pale ale that has a complete feeling to it when you drink it.
Yeah, and Nick Knock and the guys at Sweetwater have been using resins for a lot.
They use a hop hash, which is different than the resins, correct? The actual hash?
Yeah, well, I don't know what the technical difference is on it. We buy just straight resin, and we've started to explore buying it in different versions. I think we've got 4 or 5 versions of resin right now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the hash part is. I mean, that's a marketing thing too. I'm not sure exactly, but we like the resins very much.
Yeah, and it definitely works. Again, this is a great flavorful beer, and you get a little bit of that dankness, like you said, on the front. But this is a nice.
The flavor's very intense.
It is.
You get a lot of flavor, but the bitterness isn't hard.
I'm not sure where, and I just text Travis. I hope he'll get a response. But he used extract or resins in late edition in this beer.
Okay, very interesting.
So
cool stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So now you guys have put a lot of sweat equity in your headquarters in the West Side. What's going on now? What are your next steps here when you're opening up the brewery?
So we're in process of setting up our tasting room, and we've had some dry runs on that. Get our arms around that process, making sure we're compliant with the deluge of
regulations.
Yeah, and so we're doing that. We're going to do on September 17th. We're going to have a grand opening at the brewery, which is going to be our kickoff. It's really going to focus on our beers and not so much what's that, Irish wood dancing or anything like that. We're going to be focused on the beers over there. And what we like to do with our team, what I like to do is have us in the market, on the floor, having conversations and explaining to people what we're about and what our beers are about, as opposed to just letting people come there and you've got some person that's running the gate and doesn't talk to anybody. We need to develop those relationships with our customers at the ground level. And that's why we've had 30, 40 events in the marketplace where our entire team is present and has those conversations. Now, in the brewery, we're going to start working on that canning line very soon. So I'd say that's our next big focus.
We were going to ask you about that. So, yeah. Guys, we're going to take another quick break here. Definitely want to hear more about that canning line. You're listening to Beer Guys Radio. We're talking to Scofflaw Brewing, and we'll be right back.
Hi, this is Bob Sandage, owner of the Wrecking Bar Brew Pub. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
The Beer Guys are back right after this.
Hey, it's Aaron. I want to give a quick shout out to our newest sponsor. It's HopSpot Beer Tours of Atlanta. Now, there's a lot of tours out there, but what makes HopSpot Beer Tours different? Well, you get exposure. There's more to Atlanta craft beer than just breweries. A HopSpot Beer Tour gives you the who, what, where, and when to craft beer right here in Atlanta and the state. Education. Whether you're a native, a transplant, or a visitor, you'll always learn something new. And connection. HopSpot connects you to guests, local breweries, and businesses to create those lasting relationships. We invite you to check out what makes HopSpot different. Like them on Facebook, follow them on Twitter and Instagram at HopSpotATL, and of course visit HopSpotBeerTours.com. Use promo code BeerGuys10 and receive 10% off your order. HopSpot Beer Tours. Hop on, get connected. That's HopSpotBeerTours.com.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
Shake it back!
And we're back with the Beer Guys Radio Show. BeerGuysRadio.com is our website. Shake and bake out there. Matt Shira and JP Watts from Scofflaw Brewing, Atlanta's and Georgia's newest brewery, coming out. We're going to wrap up with them here really quick. But first, I always want to make sure that we get this. There's a giveaway to give away.
There is a giveaway to give away.
So what's the giveaway to give away?
We're giving away our giveaway to Chris Roberts.
Hey, Chris.
This week. Chris, thank you so much for subscribing to our newsletter.
Yes.
And to claim your prize, drop us an email at beerguys@beerguysradio.com. And that will get you, we'll connect up with you, get you your good stuff. Aaron, if someone wants to enter to be the one to win our giveaway we give away, how would they do that?
Well, Tim, it's easy. Actually, all you have to do is sign up at beerguysradio.com. We've got a little bit of a link. You'll have a pop-up there to sign up for This Week in Georgia Beer. You get awesome Georgia Beer news. We don't spam you. It's once a week. Don't worry about it. It comes in your inbox on Friday morning. And not only do you get great information about beer releases and events that are happening around the state of Georgia for the week, but again, you're also entered to win our awesome swag pack, which, again, a bunch of cool stuff from our sponsors, some of our guests, and those types of things. Very cool stuff. So head to beerguysradio.com and sign up for This Week in Georgia Beer. So we're wrapping up right now, again, with Matt Shira and JP Watts from Scofflaw Brewing. You guys are having your grand opening September 17th. Anything else? Actually, let's talk about this beer that we're drinking on right now. Tell us a little bit about this fantastic coffee stout that we've got.
The Interrogation Coffee Stout, which... we always see people giving people coffee when they're getting ripped by the police, right? You know
sure, exactly.
So it's like his best name I could come up with.
You want a cup of coffee? Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Coffee stout.
Spill the beans, man.
That's right.
We made this stout actually again as a blending beer, and it was a milk stout. Started off its life as a milk stout, and it sat in the tank fermented for I don't know, man, maybe 4 or 5 weeks. We didn't know what to do with it. So I just decided, hey, go and get some coffee and kind of put it in that bright tank with it there and see what happens to it. And people have really responded well to this beer. And we're not sure if you're even going to make it again, but there's some of it out there in the market right now. Looks like he likes it.
We're a huge fan, absolutely. I love a good coffee stout. And this one's got just a ton of coffee on the nose. Ton of coffee and when you're drinking it, and it's not bitter or astringent like you get sometimes.
Yeah,
with that coffee.
That's like we've all said here. The nice vanilla note, the roastiness. There's chocolate notes, which you told me, Matt, is just from the malts there that's getting that. So it's just a really good beer, really good coffee stout. So make it again because I like it.
All right, we'll talk about it.
Yes.
So Tim says.
Yes. So a question for you. We talked about this briefly, kind of tying in here to your brewery in general and the expansions there. So you kind of set up for expansion. You've got a large space there. You already have several fermenters, but you've got a place sectioned off for your barrel aging area. You got a place sectioned off that's going to be a sour area, correct?
So we have two. We built this with all of this in mind. Travis and I sat down and went through the flow of the property. We also developed the number one thing I was looking for was ceiling height. When we found this place, you got
plenty of that up there.
Yeah, it's like 24 feet high. And then we also wanted the tasting room is a little cart before the horse, but we want a tasting room to feel like you're in the brewery. So if you've been in there, you've seen the chain link fence, you're in there drinking, and you can see the operation going on around you. So a lot of times Joe might be up there brewing the beer, and you're having that same beer. It's fresh out of the not fresh out of the bright, but it has to go through a keg and then into the tasting room by regulation. But it's pretty fresh, and he's making that same beer that day. The brewery is built to grow. So we've got about 7,500 to 8,000 barrels of capacity right now. There's a sour, a funky side that can hold close to that amount, and then there's the regular cellar, non-funky cellar. We got plenty of room to grow in there. I think we've got hookups for 36 tanks, and we've got 15 tanks in there. So it's already pre-wired for the tanks that we set in to be ready to go off the glycol system, off the temperature controls, etc. There's a barrel area. We've already started filling barrels. I've probably got 15 or 20 of those things filled. We're in the process of developing our sour program, which is a long-term investment, and that will be in the immediate right when you walk in the brewery. Sour stuff will stay there, but right now we've been using it for just standard brewing. It's going to change very quickly as we start to invest in that program. First and foremost, our canning line will come online, which we've been scared to open it and bring it out of the box because of all the beat downs we've been getting over the last 6 months. But it's that time now. We'll probably open it up this week and at least have a look at it and touch it and feel it and rub up against it for a little bit. And then we'll go to Savannah to do the Beer Week stuff down in Savannah, the festival. And then we'll come back and start to hit those projects one at a time and knock them out.
Any timeline on cans? Do you have a goal there?
I'd like to see October sometime.
Okay. All right.
But I really, we've got that going for us. And at the same time, I will stop production of the beers that we have going into the market every day already in order to refocus on some R&D. We can downsize that brewery you can get up to 22 barrels for mostly developed that way for high gravity. The system was developed that way so that we could do a lot of high gravity. And we do a lot of high gravity stuff, but it's also where you can drop the temperature controls and everything in the system, and the tanks are built so that you have multiple probes and you can drop those down to 7-barrel tanks. And that way you can do small batches. I consider it to be a very small batch, and we can take those small batches and run some R&D. And we're going to use our tasting room as a proving grounds for that R&D work that we do and refinements. And so we want the public to be involved in the refinements of our beer. So that's why we invite people to come into our tasting room. It's much less of a place it's a place to learn about beer and a place to be a part of the process and a part of the story. We don't get it right all the time. We do a pretty good job, but we welcome feedback. People are sometimes, they don't want to give you negative feedback, but I want the negative feedback more than I want the positive feedback. Doesn't have to be on
blast it
on
Instagram.
Be a nasty post on Instagram. Yeah, a guy
you
goes.
Know, right? And
that's the method a lot of people like to take. They post it on social media.
Guy's drinking a 10.9% beer. He goes, "Whoa, this is too high gravity for me." I'm like, "What the hell did you think that was going to taste like?" But
this IPA is too good. I don't like IPAs. That's right.
Yeah.
Like, what'd you expect?
Yeah.
That's right. Hey, Matt Shira and JP Watts from Scofflaw Brewing, thanks so much for joining us today. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Thanks, guys. So we've got some stuff going on here. We're going to wrap up the show with the Hotlist.
Time for the Hotlist. The beer guys have the scoop on what you need to know for next week.
That's hot.
So what's going on this week, Tim, in Georgia?
So we got some good stuff over here. So throughout Sunday or tomorrow, Savannah Craft Beer Week continues. Lots of events there. Go to our site, check out our calendar. That'll link you to their calendar. We didn't put every event on ours because things were changing, but it'll get you there to get it. Or just look for Savannah Craft Beer Week.
There you go.
We'll get you there. Monday is Cinco de Siberias.
Yes.
It's a popular day every month where Wrecking Bar puts on their Mexican Siberius Maximus Stout.
No growlers just yet of
no
that.
Growlers, no. It goes on at like 7 p.m. and it's usually gone by like 7:15.
It's crazy. I know. I've never had it before, so good luck.
Oh, it's fantastic. So, and every month it seems to have a little variance with the heat level in that, and everybody gets on the forums and talks about it. So you have to schedule to get out there sometime.
There you go. I'll definitely have to do that.
Thursday through Saturday, Dry County is opening over in Kennesaw.
Excellent.
So that's you guys are about to get booted from the newest brewery in Georgia spot there. You'll be an old hand at it soon. So
bring them on.
And then next Saturday, Jekyll turns 3 years old.
Yep.
And Wild Heaven has an emergency chicken picking.
Yikes!
So go out there. So that's what we got coming up.
Hey, in Alabama, of course, Bama is all about college football. So Singing River Brewing in Florence is having some viewing parties, a couple of big games kicking off this Labor Day weekend for today. Later this evening, actually, USC and Alabama will kick off, and also Clemson and Auburn. They're having watch parties again at Singing River Brewing in Florence. Wednesday, 5 p.m., very cool, Hop City, Birmingham. Cigar City is having a beer release. So some new releases over in Alabama for Cigar City, and guess who's going to be there? Wayne Wombles will be there.
Very
so
cool.
Awesome way to go ahead and meet one of the more famous brewers in the business. And also starting Friday through the weekend, Salty Nut in Huntsville. They're having a ministry collection for the Good Samaritan Ministry. So go ahead and drop off your donations there at Salty Nut in Huntsville. So that's the hot list, and we got a couple more minutes here. And I cracked open a beer. The folks at Eventide were nice enough to
absolutely
get us with their new release. Just came out, called Red-Headed Haley.
And this is their seasonal red ale.
That's correct, yeah,
and they
exactly.
said that this one is it's a little different than some of the red ales you might get because we have a little warmer fall. So, they made this one for you to enjoy. It's not quite as heavy as some of the red ales and that.
No, it's not.
And it's nice maltiness to it, some good flavor. So, thanks, Eventide. We appreciate you guys sharing with us.
Yeah, it's a really nice place. Have you been to Eventide at the Grand Park area down there?
I have. Yeah, I've been down there a few times.
Yeah, I haven't been down to Grand Park in that area for years, and it's amazing how things have changed down there. It's really cool.
Yeah,
so.
Nice tasting room there.
It is.
Nice
beautiful.
setup. So, yeah, very nice down there.
Very awesome. Good people. Definitely,
yes,
some good
absolutely.
people at the Eventide. So good people all over in Georgia.
There are.
In Alabama.
We've got good people in Georgia beer. We
Nobody's
sure do.
good.
Absolutely.
So, hey, we're going to wrap up this week for the Beer Guys Radio Show. Coming up next week, speaking of good people, we got Southern Brewing coming on from Athens. Very excited about that.
They're doing exciting stuff over there. So
yeah, we're going to have them on the show. So we're going to enjoy them and talk to them about their first anniversary with Cracker. They had bands there, and you enjoyed that. It was a lot of fun. So anyway, we are the Beer Guys Radio Show. Check us out on the socials all week long, and we will talk to you next week. Cheers, and be sure to drink local.